What is going on, everybody? This is episode 809 of the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VF Baller. Over here, we talk about Georgia Southern and Atlanta Falcons football. And I'm just going to skip clean over the Falcons this week. I'll talk about them later on a regular YouTube video, whatever the case may be. They have a bye week. Let them marinate in that 38-6 loss. Not going to worry about that. But what I do want to talk about is these Georgia Southern Eagles. What is going on? We lost two players in 2 weeks, two prominent players. And I want to discuss that also. I want to talk about how everybody feel from a fan standpoint and what we think that we feel what is going on in the locker room. I mean, there's a lot to talk about. Is everything under control? We really need to know that, because right now it looks like things are kind of spiraling a little bit. But we're going to talk about that, give you my thoughts and opinions. So if this is your first time here, welcome. I can be found on YouTube and Rumble. I'm also on the Spotify and Apple Podcasts, YouTube Podcasts, and anywhere else you can find the podcast at. Just type in First and Frame Rates. I should pop right on up. And we're going to just leave it right there. Thanks, everybody, for the support the past week or so. You guys have been absolutely amazing. A lot of guys interacting and girls interacting with the channel, interacting with me on X at VF Baller. And it is absolutely amazing. I cannot thank you guys enough. Let's jump right into this. Listen, Coach Clay Helton has had a really rough week, to say the least. I mean, you look at what happened in, the whole bye week situation. Dexter Williams decides to, move on, go into the transfer portal. Then you have the situation where we go and play Troy at Paulson with all that momentum on our side, and we end up losing to Troy. And at the same time, we lose another player in Isaac Walker. He leaves the team as well. Now, one thing I will say that I will try to keep a bit of positive before we get into the other side of the spectrum. I did love seeing Josh Dallas and Mark Stambley come out and talk and say how they're ready to go 1-0 and want to play against Coastal Carolina and finish this season on a strong note. I love that. That makes me want to keep supporting the team, make me want to keep going and doing the best I can to support these kids and watch these games and commentate and give my thoughts and opinions on them. Because at the end of the day, it's about these kids. I mean, these young guys have played their heart out all season. They've actually had a pretty solid season. But the problem is, when you see 2 years in a row where a team falls off the cliff, you're starting to see that happen again. A lot of people get nervous, and it doesn't help when you have two really good players leave the team. So it's going to take a lot for Coach Clay Helton to hold it together. And it seemed like he tried to hold it together, which I'll talk about the clip that was put out by Jeff Roberts. Shout out to Jeff Roberts on Twitter. He is the sports director of WTOC 11. I watched that news channel all my life when I grew up in Savannah. I mean, it's just amazing how, things and time fly after, all this time watching that news channel. But nevertheless, I'm going to talk about that, and I'm going to talk about the play that set me off, and it made me furious as a Georgia Southern Eagle fan. I just could not believe the play that I saw that, to me, felt like was the defining moment that lost this game. Not the interception by J.C. French, but I'll talk about the particular play that I was extremely upset at, and I'm pretty sure if you watch the game, you know what play I'm talking about. So, first and foremost, let's talk about matter of fact, let's go in reverse. Let's talk about the play first, because that happened before the actual situation with the press conference when Coach Clay Helton did talk about, well, he tried to skirt around the Isaac Walker situation. So we're going to talk about this play first. And I'm going to have it on the screen if you're watching on the video version of the game or of the podcast. We're going to talk about this. So shout out to Tyler Moody. Tyler Moody is a follower of mine on X. I follow him as well. Great guy that talks about Georgia Southern in his spare time. So I want to run this play right here. Oh boy. Why would I do this to myself? I'm going to run this play right here, and I want you guys to understand like why I'm so upset. And let's just go ahead and get into it. Let's play this right now. Let me get the audio together. Okay, all right, let's go.
Look at this. It's a direct French on third down, throws incomplete.
I don't know if you heard that. I don't know if you heard that at the end, but somebody was so loud over the television audio, you can hear them screaming, "Why?" Like, yeah, why would you run that play? I want you to hear it again, so I'm not tripping. So you guys can hear what I hear. It's right at the end. You hear somebody in the background like, "Why? Like, why would you run this play?" Just look at the play. First and foremost, the play looks horrible. Look at this. The O-line is on the sideline. That's the play. What I call it. I call it the O-line on the sideline play because pretty much the entire O-line is on the sideline. Look at them. They're way over there on the other side of the field, and you got a 2 tight end set with a guard in a center, and the quarterback in like a diamond shape. And what is this? What is this? Is a get fired job. I mean, play. This is a I don't care play. I'm gonna do whatever I want to play. I mean, just listen at the end when this guy screams.
It's a direct French on third down, throws incomplete.
I mean, just absolutely horrible. Like, what compelled you to run that play when it's 7-7 going into halftime? You go get a score, get the touchdown, and be up, but then you're up only by a field goal, 10-7. And look, I'm telling you, that changed the entire dynamic of the game. Even though we lost 28-20, you got to understand, you don't have that much pressure on you when it's 28-21. Let's just say if that was the case, it was 28-21, and you're marching down the field, and J.C. Prince doesn't have to do everything in the world to try to make a play and not throw an interception because you just could just run your regular offense when you're only down by 7. Down by 8, you panic a little bit. But nevertheless, even if you would have made that touchdown, you probably wouldn't have been in that situation anyway. Nevertheless, let's scroll down here. This is on my Twitter timeline. Oh, there he is talking right there. All right, I wanted to give you a little bit of background here on this right here. But that was my response to this. But if you're watching on the screen, but nevertheless, just look at this right here. Coach Clay Helton talks about the situation with Isaac Walker. Shout out to Jeff Roberts of WTOC once again. And he put this out there. He asked Coach Clay Helton about Isaac Walker's departure and how it feels inside the building. And this is what he says. And this right here, we're gonna have a discussion about this before we get out of here. All right, let's listen. Now, mind you, or another thing. The audio is only on the left side for some reason. Twitter doesn't pick up the audio on this on both ears. So if you were listening to it, it's just on the left side for some reason. It does that sometimes. It's very weird. All right, let's get into it.
No, you have 125. I mean, we're very fortunate here. Y'all don't get to feel it very often. There's teams across the country that have a lot of attrition. We don't get very much here. And I've got a room of 100, and I started with 125. You got 123 men in there that are really pulling hard in the same direction, and they want to win a championship, and they're fighting like heck. You know, leadership is always tough. You know, you're not going to make everybody happy, and that's the price of leadership. You make the best decisions that you can in the moment that you feel are best for the football team. And so with that being said, I know these 123 men are ready to go fight and try to go get 1-0 versus Coastal.
All right, so what's that telling me is it's telling me that he may or may not have control of the locker room. It's nothing that dire. I haven't heard anything otherwise as of late, but that's what I'm hearing right here. Also, with that being said, it sounds like he had like a disagreement. Yeah, let's get him off the screen here. I think I've seen enough of him. It seemed like there was some type of disagreement with him and Isaac Walker as far as the team trying to get, trying to be on the same page of what they want. And I think Isaac Walker basically speaks for most of the fan base that it seems like this coaching staff is not on the same page of trying to win a championship, especially when that play that we just saw. I mean, that play really upset me. I'm not as upset as I was before because I kind of just calmed down. I'm like, you know what? These are young men out here. They're trying to play. They're trying to win, and I'm not going to continue to be too upset about the situation. I want these kids to have the confidence to go out and play the best that they can play. But with that being said, I think Coach Clay Helton needs to put a little bit of fire under himself and make it known that you want to win just as bad as we do. Because what it seems like now, it seems like he does not want to just, he wants to win, but it's not that type of desire that Georgia Southern football normally has. I think that's one of the last things that he hasn't understood about being an Eagle or being the Eagles head coach, that you got to have, just like Russell said, the bad case of the wants. And I don't think he has it. I think he has an issue with just being here, just try to play this game on the field, try to run your game plan and try to win with your game plan. But when you're trying to win at all costs, like, you know, a friend of mine that's out here on the Twitter and, you know, spaces say, when you try to win at all costs, you make things happen no matter who is in the way. You know, that whole situation with Dexter Williams probably shouldn't have happened if you're really trying to win at all costs. You should have gave him a chance to start. Especially when J.C. French was concussed and he was, you know, even though he was cleared to go, you still got to look out the safety for your players. He should have played. You know, you should have been more mindful of what type of plays you're trying to run in certain moments. You got a decision to make in a certain moment. And the main thing is, you got 3 running backs. You have 3. And if you want to talk about Terrence Gibbs, you got 4 running backs that you could run the ball straight at this team, any team for that matter, 4 times in a row to get a touchdown. But you ran that play that we just saw earlier. At the end of the day, it's really unacceptable. And what we need to do, we need to find a way to win these next 2 games. Because right now, the sentiment right now is that there's no control of what's going on in this locker room. There's no control with this team. You can put a smiley face on it. You can make it sound good. You can make it, you know, seem like it's so hunky-dory and everything is hee-haw, you know, oh golly gee, whatever you want to call it. You can make it whatever you want it, but as of right now, it looks like everything is out of control. You go win these 2 games, people may start to think differently, but as of right now, it looks like this is a problem. And it looks like it's headed right back to 6-6 once again. So something really needs to change here. You go into hostile territory in Conway, South Carolina. Those kids, don't get it twisted. You thought Troy was a problem. Those kids in Coastal Carolina, they like to play against us. They look at us as a rival. Even though we don't look at it that way, they look at us as a rival. Even though we did get their number last year, and then we did, you know, and you know, all the great stuff that we've had our ups and downs with them, they look at us like that. So you better be careful going to Conway, and you already know what you're getting when that team from Boone, North Carolina comes to Paulson Stadium. You already know what you're getting in these next 2 games. So you might want to get things together as far as trying to find ways to win these 2 games. Because if you go 6-6, and look, all bets are off at that point. I want another coach. I'm not even going to lie to you. If we go 6-6 again, I do want another coach. And I know that may be, you know, I ain't gonna lie, that may be popular right now. A lot of the fans feel that way. But the way you go 6-6 for the last 3 years, we can't have that. You got to win these 2 games. These 2 games, you're going to win us over at the end of the day. So if you got control of this locker room, if you got a control of this football team, show it. If you like this commentary, hit the like button, share this podcast, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let me know what you guys think. It can be found on YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, also on YouTube Podcasts. You can follow me on X at VFBaller. Like, share, subscribe to the channels. Follow me on all the podcast avenues or the podcast avenue of your choice. Also follow me on X, and I will see you guys in the next one. You guys enjoy the rest of your week. Hopefully everything will get a little bit better. We'll see how it goes. No Falcons football this week. We'll talk about them later. So everything is going to be focused on Georgia Southern going to Conway, South Carolina to play the Chanticleers. All right, y'all. Y'all take it easy, and y'all be blessed. Peace.